Hello, it's Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Here in blog post we want to review with you, and of course review the latest in social media and technology. Be sure to subscribe to the thechrisvossshow.com email feed and our YouTube channel so you can get all the latest and greatest as all the major phone companies send us phones now to review. This is from our friends at boostmobile.com. That's boostmobile.com. You can check them out. They've got all sorts of different resources on paying your bill and keeping out of 2-year long-term contracts that other services might offer. So be sure to check out their website for all the cool different things they do, and be sure to search the Chris Voss Show. We just got done reviewing this Samsung Rush from them, and of course we have the Samsung Galaxy S2 here from them, and we anticipate having more. The size of the Samsung is 5.1 in height, 2.7 in width, and a depth or thickness of 0.38 inches. Weight comes in at 4.6 ounces. The screen size is 4.52 touchscreen, and the memory in it supports up to a micro SD card up to 32 gigabytes. It's a great little device. It's Samsung and has all the awesomeness of the Samsung Galaxy S2 in it. The battery life is a talk time of 8.7 hours. The battery type is a lithium-ion 1520 milliamp hour battery, and it is removable out the back. The processor is a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Exynos processor, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. On the back of it, it has an 8 megapixel camera with 1080p full HD video, 16 gigabytes of internal memory, 2 megapixel front-facing camera on the front. Comes out of the box with Android 4.0. It also has 3G and 4G specifications to it, and I believe this has been upgraded to Android 4.04 so that we have the very latest of Android on it. It works great, just like any other Samsung phone that we reviewed. We've always been really impressed with the Samsung product. It gives you the ability to utilize the great engineering that went in behind them. So let's take a look at the Samsung here. Now, one thing you have with your screens is you have what we call infinite swipe, where you can continue swiping infinitely throughout the menus and everything else. Let's take a look at the notification drop-down menu. You can see here across the top that you have the notification menu. One thing that's interesting, and this must have something to do with Boost Mobile system, is you can't have Wi-Fi and 4G on at the same time. You have to turn off your Wi-Fi in order to connect to the 4G network. So that must have something to do with their systems and how they build. But once you click it in, you can turn off your Wi-Fi and then turn on the 4G, which will take and activate. Once again, this is one of those things where you may want to check your coverage in your area to make sure that you're able to get 4G capability. You can see here the 3G and 4G things come on. Where we're currently recording this, we've been unable to use the 4G much. Looks like they're kicked in gear only when we're recording, right? So it is available, and you can tap into it, and what's really nice is you can use the quick button bars to get into it. Let's take a look at a few other things here. We want to make sure this is running on the 4.04 Android system, and it's got all the different the OS on it that runs with Samsung that you really love. It's got a great settings menu, etc., etc. It's got Android 4.04, as you can see here. On the front of the device, we have the front-facing camera. We have some sensors. We have your speaker for making calls. Down below, we have capacitive touchscreen with the menu, the home button, the back button, and a search button, which make it work very well. In this case, it comes in a very pretty white with a silver back or silver side area, which makes it look really good. Let's take a look at the back here. Now on the back we have a small speaker on the bottom, and of course you can see the camera eye and the flash. It's got this really beautiful kind of way they displayed it with this chrome finish, Galaxy S2. Now the back is removable, so let's go ahead and pop the back off. The back here, you can see, of course, has a removable battery, and we have a place to insert our micro SD card to be able to expand the memory. Looking at the top of the device, you can see here that we have the place for the earphone jack. Down the left-hand side, we've got a rocker button, volume up and volume down. There's also a place, I believe this is a place where you can run a cord through to be able to hook this maybe around your wrist or something like that. I assume that's what that's for. We haven't really been able to figure out what it's for, but it could be for that. On the bottom of the device, we have your charging sync port and a small microphone hole. On the right side of the device, we have your power button right here, and it's a good looking device all the way around, especially the white one I'm definitely partial to. So let's see, I'm not even sure what other colors they come in at Boost Mobile, but you can check their website and see if they have other colors, but I definitely have liked the white, so be sure to check that out. Okay, so here's the results we got of the speed test of the 4G network. We kind of bounced a little bit between 3G and 4G, but you can see the results we took and got here. I think most of these came in with the 4G network. We're currently kicked off it right now, but so you can see the Boost Mobile results we're taking and getting there, 1.34, 1.60. I think we're in a rough area for the Boost Mobile service where we're recording this video at, because we keep having trouble keeping the 4G signal going. So you definitely want to check the signal in your areas and make sure that you got a good strong signal. Okay, so this here is the Geekbench 2 score. This tells us pretty much is a popular brand at telling us how fast the device can go. It scored 973, 860 integer, 1537 floating point, 449 memory, stream 450. I'll page down through the data here, and you can of course see it as we go by. 1.20 gigahertz, Android 4.04. Mainly the total scores are what you're looking for. All these individual scores, it's up to you. If you want to follow them, you're welcome to pause the tape anytime to see that. The great thing about most of these apps we're going to be using today is that you can take and download them at home on your current Android device or sometimes your iOS device, and be able to follow along at home and see how well your device performs and whether or not you may want to buy this particular phone we're showing you here. Okay, so now we have the CF Bench Pro version 1.2 test you can see here, and we'll just page down through the stuff. You can stop this at any time if you want to see the individual scores. For the most part, what we're looking for is the overall score, which is 6,500. This came in it. You can see that it fared, let's see, right there, your device right below the HTC One X and the Samsung Galaxy S3. Okay, so now here we have the Antutu Benchmark score. Came in at 6621, 3078 CPU, GPU is 1542, 1163 RAM, and IO 838. Okay, so here we have the GL Benchmark 2.5.1 test that we've gone and done. You can see the Egypt HD test came in at 1241 frames, 11 frames per second, and the off-screen came in at 1045 frames at 9.3 frames per second. Okay, so here what we're doing is we're doing what's called the GPS app test, and it tests how well the device can get to within 10 feet of accuracy of itself, which most mobile phones can do. It looks like this one's getting within 7. That's kind of wild. It's picking up 11 in view and 11 use roughly, and it's getting within 7 feet, which is really actually good. Most only do 10. So there you go, the GPS app test. Okay, so here you can see the Passmark performance test that we took and did. 1808 is what the system scored. I'll page down here through some of these details. CPU scored at 1601 on the test. The disk test came at 2588. Memory test 1451. 2D graphic tests 1499, and 3D graphic tests 613. Okay, so here we've done the benchmarking tests, and we came in at number 7, your device, came in at 4835, pretty good. You can see here there's a few Samsungs above it and Samsungs below it, so it did really well within its genre. Okay, so now here we can see the colors turned up all the way on brightness. You see we've got really rich greens, reds, blues, purples, magentas. You can see the yellow coming in really well in the light blue. The screen is awesome. It's a Samsung screen, so there's really no question to the quality of the screen and the screen look and test and how it looks. Definitely a great looking screen. Okay, so here we've done the Billion Counter Test app. It came in with 35.073 seconds. Not bad. Okay, so here we have the Antutu 3D benchmarking rating, came in at 3550. Okay, so here you can see the KFS benchmark overall, 37.150, measures frames per second in the OpenGL 2.0. On the SQL benchmark test with RL benchmark, SQLite performance, it does a number of tests on inserts, indexing, etc. We came in with a total score of 24.21 seconds. Okay, this here is the ANDE benchmarking score app, and this measures how many threads, both native and Java threads, can be run on the device. You can see here that we scored 4,046 in native threads, 131 in Java threads. On the Vlamo score, which tests a lot of HTML5, JavaScript, etc., you can see we came in at 1329 and 419 in their metal division. Okay, so here we have the Quadrant standard test that we've taken and done. The device performed fairly well, 3395, kind of at the top of the charts here, if you will, close to the HTC One X. So it did really good. You can see some of the stats: CPU 5697, memory 3148, I/O 5603, 2D 575, and 3D 1951. Okay, so video-wise and camera-wise, the Samsung, of course, has the good cameras that they tend to put in their phones, so a great camera. Otherwise here, you have most of the same sort of settings and switches that you would have with a Android device that are pretty common on them. You can choose long video, video mail, self-recording in this. When you do stuff, you can choose, to make it short so you can go to MMS. You can, of course, control your flash. You can control how high you want the pictures quality to be in the settings. You've got your ability to adjust your exposure, and you've got massive settings where you can do all sorts of different values, effects, resolutions, white balance, etc., all sorts of different things there. Same thing when you switch it over to camera mode. You can adjust your settings, you can adjust your flash, you can adjust different scenery, shooting modes and stuff that you can take and do. Front to back camera, of course, all sorts of different menus that you can see here. It's a great camera on the Samsung, and that's pretty much it with the camera. Let's take a look at some of the photos we got. You can see here some video we took and did. Let's actually crank this up. One thing that they do on the Samsungs is they make separate brightness settings for both your video and your phone, and also for your web browser. So you can see here we're getting great video out of this. It's a bright room with fluorescent lights, so we're getting some brightness from that. But other than that, it's great video. You can see our blues are coming in, our reds are coming in really well, and whites. I think we're getting some odd green coloring from the fluorescent lights, but other than that, it's coming through really well. You can see the sharpness of the screen. It's good video, and it's a good camera. Let's take a look at some of the shots that we took that were in color. You can see here we're doing a rose. It comes out pretty well. Here's another color shot, if you will. Here's a dark shot. This is a completely night shot, and we're shooting this with the video and the lamp in the complete darkness, and it's doing pretty good. It's got a huge lamp to it. You can see some of the colors coming in fairly well on this, but there's a lot of greens that you can see in the photos that are showing up in the video. So it's a situation of light, etc. But it's a good camera for what it's got, especially where you have a good lamp presence. And I think on the flash presence, you can see here this is a flash shot in complete darkness. Your image is going to come out sharp like you want it, and of course you can see the colors. The colors aren't washed out and all that good stuff. So it's a good camera. It's a Samsung, 8 megapixel back camera. It's nice having a 2 megapixel camera on the front. That makes it really nice for if you want to do video calls and all that good stuff. So all in all, I like the device. It's a great phone. It's a Samsung phone, and it has the Galaxy quality to it. Samsung Galaxy S2 4G LTE. Be sure to get it at Boost Mobile. That's boostmobile.com. Tell them Chris Voss sent you. Chris Voss tested, Chris Voss approved. I've always been impressed with Samsung's product, and I think it really rock and rolls. And it's a great little phone for you to get, especially on the Boost Mobile system. So go to boostmobile.com. Let them know we sent you. Be sure to subscribe subscribe to all the Chris Voss Show channels on YouTube and the website so you can get all the latest and greatest cell phones as we review them as they come to us from the major phone companies. Thanks to Boost Mobile, and be sure to check back often.